I'm talking about something that I've wanted to talk about for absolutely ages, and never been able to in the past. It's how I got shredded. So, so I've never been able to speak about this in the past because I've never been shredded before, and I'm not sure how you'd define shredded, but I'm defining it as what I am now, which I think is the closest I'll get to properly shredded. To cover the why, it was mainly to get my power to weight better. I thought to myself, I was sort of 86, 87 kilos, and I thought, well, if I could lose 5 kilos, that's going to take a huge chunk off my power to weight score and give me a better chance of getting in a higher boat. So that was the main motivation. But also in the background, there was a thought of there's going to be a massive Mahiki sesh at some stage, and I want to be able to unbutton my shirt to have a rig. So to cover the how I did it, that was mainly down to 3 things. Firstly, I suppose the first 2 are all included. It's calories. I used 2 things to track my calories. This heart rate monitor and an app. I used MyFitnessPal. So the heart rate monitor was following all of the calories and tracking all of the calories I burnt during my workouts. And MyFitnessPal was tracking all of the calories that I consumed during the day. And quite simply, all I had to do was make sure that the calories burned was bigger than the calories consumed. So that was step 1, calories. Step 2 was actually more focused on nutrition, and I've talked about nutrition before, but basically I needed a lot of protein to make sure I wasn't going to lose muscle mass. So I ended up having probably far too much, but that was just the way it happened. I was eating a lot of beans because beans were filling. So I ended up having like 200 to 220 grams a day most days. And I'm not saying that you need that much. I'm not making any recommendation on how much you need, but it's a lot. And I found that worked for me. It might be too much for you. It might not be enough for you. Depends on your size, your build, a lot of things. But 200 to 220 was a number that worked really well for me. It helped me maintain the muscle mass whilst I was in a caloric deficit, and helped me just to keep recovering well through the tough workouts. Which brings me on to my final point, the workouts. So one thing I really wanted to make sure I was doing was still being able to do quality workouts. So quite a lot of that was meaning that I had to plan my meals so that I was fueled to do the workout and then could recover after. It was difficult to do and stay under the calories, but essentially I was having some sort of carby food about an hour or so before my workout, or slightly more if it was a heavier carb, and then protein-based meal without many carbs after the workout. And again, that's probably not what a nutritionist would tell you to do, but it was working for me, so I kept doing it. I also ate a ton of fruit and veg, mainly veg, because they were really stocky, filling things, and not very calorific. So something I struggled with whilst losing weight was I'd been eating a huge amount before, and then suddenly I had very little to be eating. So it was just trying to make myself feel full. It took a couple of weeks to get used to it, but just grinding through. I also started my cut, was end of April, and I had until Henley to reach the target weight. The target weight was initially 82. I smashed through that probably too fast, I smashed through that in with about 3 weeks to go. So I ended up actually at 81ish by Henley, which was great, especially when we got put in a heavier boat, so we were all underweight for it. So I guess some quick tips for any rowers out there looking to get shredded, or anyone out there. It's actually really easy. Make sure you're still doing your training hard and doing resistance training. That's going to help you preserve the muscle mass. Eat lots of fruit and veg. Melons I found were really good, really low calories, and you could eat tons of them. And yeah, just track everything. Get a Garmin if you have to, they're really useful. Get a heart rate monitor so you can track your workouts, and MyFitnessPal or some sort of calorie tracking app. Absolutely brilliant. You may notice that my setup's a little bit different today. I'm sat on a hydro. I've got my Concept 2 in the background, but I'm sat on a hydro. Hydro have sent me a rowing machine for me to have a play with, review, and some videos about the hydro are going to be on the channel coming up later. So keep an eye out for those. We should be able to have some good fun with it. And I'm also going to be doing some videos on a channel called Rowing Crazy. It's only got 1 subscriber at the moment, which is me. So I'll stick a link in the description below. Some videos from me will be up there in the next few weeks to months. So keep an eye out for those as well. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I've given you some tips on how to get shredded. And yeah, it was and hopefully I've spoken a bit about my experience of it as well, because that's always what I go for. These are vlogs after all. So thanks for watching. I shall see you in the next video.